Okay, our last speaker of the day is Luke Payne. Luke is a man of many talents. Not only is he an incredible podcast host for the Dirtbags, Luke owns Western Excavation, based out of Fargo, North Dakota. Western focuses on emergency services, commercial excavation, utilities, sewer, water, line repairs, and installs. Please welcome Luke Payne.
How you guys all doing tonight? Good. I'll keep this one quick. I know everyone's getting kind of tired out there. My name is Luke Payne. I own Western out of North Dakota. We're an excavation company that we do a lot of travel. So we go throughout North Dakota, Minnesota, Montana, South Dakota is kind of our area. So started this in 2022. Before I had that, I had another company. It was called Black Iron Dirt. Western actually just bought out Black Iron, so now we're all Western. So I'm here to talk about recruiting and retaining employees. There's a little bit of background about myself, I apologize. 2018, started Black Iron. I didn't graduate high school, so if I have any spelling errors, please let me know. Or didn't graduate college, so if I have any spelling errors, let me know. 2022, started Western. In 2022, I started it with a partner. We did $500,000 in revenue. This past year, we grew it to 12.65 million. So we had a really good year last year. So some of how we do a lot of our recruiting, these are kind of the 4 steps that we take into place, right? We have our assessment, outreach, interview, onboard. It's just kind of a basis for us to keep a metric, right? When you're recruiting employees, what we found is we did a lot of battlefield promotions. We were, taking people on that maybe weren't in the right role. So we onboarded these 4 steps. When you guys hire, how your job descriptions? Where do you find your job descriptions? Do you write them yourself? I'm guilty of it. I've gone on Indeed and I've copied and pasted job descriptions and I've posted that and used it as my own. I found out that job descriptions are probably one of the most important tools for the recruiting process. First, right, you have your assessment. You assess kind of where your company is, what you need. Usually when you're in a position, you know when to hire and you know what you're looking to hire. So just one of the steps, outreach. So how we do our outreach, we're a little bit different, right? I'm 27 years old. I don't believe in old type marketing, right? I'm very active on TikTok. I'm active on our Instagram pages, our Facebook pages. And honestly, that's where a lot of the attraction has come from people that work with us in the local areas. So I don't know if you're not on those platforms, I would be. And I know Durbin was just talking about this with his family business on how they've been able to really generate some good following, really generate some good outreach, and just it's a very useful tool if you know how to use it. So our outreach program, again, it kind of involves a lot of the social media aspect to it. So I would say 90% of our employees came from some sort of social media interaction, whether they've emailed us or from our website, they've DM'd us on our Instagram page, they followed us on TikTok, whatever. So that's how we found a lot of success in finding people, honestly. Once you get that, you got to set up an interview. And the interview process is more than just sitting down with the person itself. What we like to do, and it's kind of bit us in the butt from not doing it, is getting referrals. We've, when somebody sends us their resume, we ask for referrals on there. We want the referrals so we can reach out to kind of see what that person's like. It's tough because it's kind of biased because maybe they're putting their best friend and said this was their boss or something. You kind of got to wean out of it. Another good thing for the interview is their social medias. What kind of person are they like through their social media? And then the next is, job offer and onboarding. All of those are pretty easy steps. The biggest for recruiting, again, kind of touching on the social media side, is Luke actually told me, Luke Agerbrat, my business partner in the Dirtbags, he's the one that told me, you got to go where the eyes are. Well, everybody says that there's a hiring problem or they're having a hard time finding people to hire. Where are those people looking? Probably not Indeed, unless it's maybe a higher up position. People are scrolling TikTok. They want Instagram videos that they want to watch, and if it shows kind of what your business is doing through your social medias, maybe it'll interest them to come and work for you. It's worked for us. I've seen other people implement it. Yeah, that works well. I forgot to be clicking through, I apologize. Retaining. So retaining is probably one of the most fun things that I have with in business right now. So construction is a huge turnover rate, people leaving for 50 cents, dollar raises at other companies, right? So retaining your employees, it all comes down to the owner. What we found, again, with the recruitment side, having that structure for the job description, having the structure for what your next steps with the company are. We have a standard hiring wage between our standard for new guys is between 26 and 28. Here are the steps that you can get to get to 30. Here are the steps that you can get to get to 35. I think we've got 12 guys now that are getting paid over $42 an hour for just what they do in job descriptions, basically. So retaining is a topic that I love. Again, my controller she did the presentation, so I'm trying to wean through some of her notes on this as well. But few key factors with the retention: mentorship, flexible work arrangement, company culture, compensation, personal development, right? When somebody wants to go work for a company, they want to work for somebody that they know is going to elevate them in life. They want to work for a company that they know that they have their goals in mind as well. That's kind of where the mentorship comes in. I always joke around, again, I've got a business partner with Western. We always joke around we're more HR than we are owners because we hear about the problems, we joke with the guys, and so it's a very fun culture, but you have to have that mentorship as well. Flexible work arrangement. Construction's tough. Obviously, I think everybody here is either excavation or septic based. So when it's time to work, it's time to work. And I think being very upfront with people in that. Did something happen? There we go. Sorry. Flexible work arrangement. Obviously in construction, it's hard to be flexible. When it's time to work, it's time to work. We work in the summers, we go from 6 a.m. to probably 5:30 to 6. We have our PMs really structure out a schedule. We call it our 3-week look ahead. So in that look ahead, they are planning 3-week basis. So we know who's traveling. The guys know who's traveling. They know what projects they're going to be on. And that allows them to help fixate their schedules, and then they aren't hit with any surprises. There was a time where we were doing probably only a week at a time, where we're like, hey, it's a Saturday night. This person, you're going to Belcourt, North Dakota on Monday, and you've got a 4-hour drive. That caused some issues. So we had to restructure that. So our 3-week look ahead has been very important for them as well. The flexible work arrangement for them, nobody likes surprises. So it's good to have some sort of structure when you're doing your scheduling. That also, again, from what we've seen, has really helped on the retaining people. We've lost a couple people because we did not have a very good structure set in place for that. Type of work arrangements. So I agree with some of these. Flex time, yes. Compressed work week. We try to get as much done as we can in the hours worked, right? If guys want to work extra overtime, we have no problem with it. But our schedule is based off of our 3-week look ahead. If somebody's like, hey, it's Friday at 2, I want to work Saturday, absolutely. But knowing that most people probably want some type of structure is very big in construction from what we've seen. Reduced hours part-time. I haven't met a single guy in the construction industry that has ever asked for reduced hours, so I don't believe in that. Flex space, people like to do different things as well. So when we hire our equipment operators, we have our set job duties of what that operator does. And so say somebody wants to try, say run a big parking lot project, and somebody's like, hey, I really want to try to get into this dozer, see what this is all about. That's a laborer that wants to get into the equipment side. It's allowing them and setting them up to be like, hey, jump in it, let's see how you do. Here's the steps if you want to continue on to stay in this dozer, stay in this excavator. And again, we operate where nobody's in one machine at all times. I'm sure you guys are very familiar with that too. Everybody kind of jumps around and does everything from the labor, from the work, pulling trailers around, whatever the case may be. So, company culture. So these are a couple of our guys. This was from our Christmas party. We gave away trips this year for from our Christmas party. We did Vegas, we did Nashville, we did a South Dakota trip, Minnesota Vikings game tickets, we did extra PTO days, we did half cows, we did cash. Obviously, people got their Christmas bonus as well at this trip. But this is what really instilled kind of a cool company culture with us. There was, after this, I don't know, I think we got probably 15 resumes of guys that are in the industry that know someone up here, and they were talking about what they got, what they received. And again, it was all a lottery based, so there wasn't no favoritism played in this, but people talk. So I always say the owners do not build the culture, right? The owners build the expectation. Your guys are the ones that are going to build that culture. Your guys are the ones that are going to want to bring people from other companies. And again, I'm not trying to say go poach your rivals, right? But if you have a really good company and a really good company culture and people want to work there, you're going to have a constant revolving door of resumes coming in, people wanting to come work for you, and that'll really help accelerate growth as well. Again, compensation. We try, I'm sure everybody's very familiar with this, but you try to pay the best you can for your employees. Obviously, in this industry, you can't be lower tier pay while you're trying to charge the most. What we found is really trying to understand our cost going into what an employee actually costs us per hour. Then it helps us on the bidding. We took on a consultant here, his Randy Blunt, and he dove into our employee ownership costs with us and basically broke it down and then added things for different training programs, different vacation programs into their hourly wage. And the example that he did was somebody making $30 an hour with a 7% 401k match, a $12,000 a year training budget, and that could be with equipment, that can be with OSHA standards, that could be whatever else. That employee is costing us $46 an hour. So knowing your numbers, you'll be able to help understand what you can pay those people as well on some of those projects. So that was big. Obviously, giving them kind of a book or an outline of like, hey, here's where you are, here's what, or asking them, where do you want to be as far as hourly? What do you want to do? What are your goals? And kind of having an outline like, hey, here's where you are now, here's where you want to be. That middle area, what is it going to take to get there? And kind of outlining that process for them so they have an understanding like, okay, well, I'm not, I don't know when my next raise is going to be. I feel like I'm really busting ass, all of that. So at least you have something for them to follow. Again, structure we found is very important and something that we lacked. So for myself, the value with this is great. Professional development, obviously, people don't want to be lower tier forever. They want to grow with the company. They want to grow a career. They want to grow into a space to where, they can build a legacy for their families. So it's going back to the compensation page as well, is understanding, okay, it's how can I help better my employees' state? How can I help get them to achieve their goals? Building that roadmap for their professional development. Hey, say we've got an equipment operator who's like, I really want to, get into the estimating side. Okay, here's what that looks like. Let's give it a try. Let's dive into it. Let's show you kind of what it looks like. So then you are molding that person to one day maybe become an estimator for you. And then that's about it. I told you I'd keep it short. So is there any questions?